So I'm joined today at the GCC Financial Forum by Mirna Sleiman, who's founder and CEO of Fintech Galaxy. Mirna, thank you very much for joining us. Let's start by looking at an innovation-based economy. What are the key components for that?
Okay, so when you look at the Middle East and North Africa region, it's a very interesting market because it's always lags behind the global markets.
Yeah.
And the region here has a lot of, certain political, geopolitical and social economic factors that are kind of special.
Yes, unique.
Yes, very unique. The market has historically been relying on oil revenues, and only recently, a few years back, since basically the financial crisis, governments started to think of knowledge-based economies and innovation economies, and they realized that they cannot sustain an economic growth based on economy that's driven by oil, which is dropping below $50 a barrel. And that's when they started really investing in education, in skills, and in regulations. So if you look at the innovation-based economy, first of all, there's the regulatory part. And regulations are trying to keep up with the needs of the market, and usually innovation is way ahead of regulations, so they try to move as fast as they could, keeping in mind that you cannot over-regulate innovation as well.
Yeah.
And then there's also the market itself, the marketplace, where there's a demand and supply. So banks, companies, and governments need innovation. And they're trying to understand, okay, we cannot innovate internally. We've got to look outside our own walls. And there's the funding part, which is also very important for startups and for investors equally. So all these components, obviously these are the main components of the ecosystem. There are other, areas like incubators and the consumers and all that.
Can you tell me a little bit about Fintech Galaxy, what you do and how you came to set it up?
So see, I'm an ex-journalist, and I used to work for Reuters, Dow Jones, the Wall Street Journal, and over the past 10 years that I spent in the region, I've met a lot of executives, and I've reported a lot in the market, and I could tell what are the gaps, right?
Yeah.
So now, as you heard over the past 2 days of the conference, the economy and the region is getting to a T-junction, and growth cannot sustain in the way they used to grow before, the banks and companies, and they realize that the transformation has to happen. Now, once you understand that there's a transformation, then you have to understand how that transformation will take place.
Yeah.
So you either keep going, in a direction where you're more confined to your own walls, or you open up and start looking at, okay, where is innovation coming from, and let's bring them on board, collaborate with them, and make a difference in our business models. So when I left Thomson Reuters last year, I thought, okay, let me look at something that actually brings the ecosystem together.
Yeah.
And I'm, by nature, as a personality, I'm a connector.
Yeah.
I love connecting people, and I love to see the ripple effect of bringing two brains together, and that's why we came up with a crowdsourcing platform.
Okay.
So basically, it's built around a need, a demand, and there's a supply. So banks, companies, and governments are now have realized that, okay, we need to innovate, but how do I innovate? Okay, I know I need blockchain in my smart contracts, or I need artificial intelligence in running my treasury, but where do I get that technology? So we are working on a database where we bring all the startups together on Fintech Galaxy, and the banks would run a challenge for a specific area that they want to innovate in.
Okay.
So that's crowdsourcing. Basically, we post the challenge for the bank or the company, and startups from all around the world would pitch their solution to this challenge, and they will choose the one that
the winner.
they like most. Now that's part of the business model. The other part is actually supporting startups in growing.
Okay.
So startups need marketing, they need PR, they need legal support, they need business development, operations. So Fintech Galaxy is actually working with startups on helping them grow at a very, very cost-effective model.
And how does your accelerator program work, and how do you get businesses, how do you get them to grow from infancy and to survive?
Yes. What we've done actually is we've realized that the markets in the MENA region are small on their own. So Dubai is too small for a startup.
Yeah.
Startups want marketplace. As I said before, they want regulatory support, they want marketplace, and they want funding. And Dubai alone is very small. Abu Dhabi alone is very small. Bahrain alone is very small. Fintech startups, they need mass. Okay, you need the market. And we thought, okay, let's create a blanket virtual accelerator on top of all the current accelerators that are out there in the market, and kind of feed into them.
Okay.
So startups, global startups would land on Fintech Galaxy, and they would look at the marketplace, and they will say, okay, I want to set up in Bahrain or Abu Dhabi or here and there or Saudi, and then from there they would go. So we partnered with Bahrain, EDB, and ADGM and DTech in Dubai. We're also talking to Egypt and Saudi and Jordan. So there isn't one overarching accelerator that actually covers the whole region.
Yeah.
And we're vertically focused on fintech. We don't do anything else.
Okay.
We focus on fintech, kind of insurtech, regtech,
Regtech,
but that's it.
yeah, okay.
We don't go into other stuff like property or.
Yeah.
So we're focused on fintech. If you're in fintech, then you come to us.
Okay.
So we help startups that are still in greenfield. They're starting. We help them with business development. We connect them to banks. We open the doors. We mentor them. We have our own partners like the IBM, Microsoft, and BDO, and all these companies that have the expertise on the ground.
Yeah.
And we also work with other startups who would support them through shared services. And also, if you're an international startup or an SME or a fintech company, and you want to enter the MENA market, we can also help with that.
Okay. And can you give me an example of, a success story from your accelerator program?
Yeah. See, Fintech Galaxy is only 4 or 5 months old.
Okay.
Even though the people who are running the program have, 10 years of experience in this domain. And the advisory board comes from really reputable organizations. What we've done recently is we signed with the Ministry of Economy in the United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
So they have the annual investment meeting, which is happening every year in April. And it gathers more than 20,000 people. Countries from all around the world, they come and showcase investment opportunities.
Okay.
Last year, they started AIM Startup, which is focused on startups. This year, we are their exclusive partner to run a fintech program.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're now in the development phase of running challenges, and at the AIM event, which is happening in April, we will be doing pitches on stage.
Fantastic.
We also help a lot of other startups like Sarwa in Dubai, Arabian Chain. I can't name all of them, but we're helping them all the time. And personally, I do a lot of collaboration with events and entities, and in return, I get startups to access events that are kind of sometimes expensive for them to get into. But it's just fascinating looking at how, you work with an idea and then it develops and then they go through funding. And eventually, Fintech Galaxy will be a pipeline for startups that are worth investing in, worth doing business with. So it lowers the risk as well of businesses and investors when they want to invest. It's a lower risk because we live with these startups. We talk to them all the time. We see how they pitch, how they prepare, how they, their integrity, how professional they are. So it's a different landscape altogether. And it's also fascinating to see how banks are accepting fintechs.
Yeah.
First of all, they were like, no, I don't want them. Like, I don't understand them and I don't want them. Now they're more like, okay, come here, let me see. Maybe I can keep my back end and I can use you in my customer-facing experience. And that's the key, actually. It's collaboration.
Fantastic, Mirna. Thank you very much for joining us today, and good luck with the Fintech Galaxy.
Thank you.
Thank you.